I've got our paintings of cowboys done by a grandparent.
That's a good intro.
And that was
That's a
you just
great intro.
just Cody saying all I have is paintings of cowboys. Okay, that needs to catch up because it has no idea what's going on. Just like me. Hello and welcome to the party. Um, you get to see everything because my good camera decided to say no. Um, so that's that. Hi, I am the Bardic Knock. Tonight, here on Welcome's Party, we're going to be playing some Dungeons and Dragons 3.5 edition. It's just more numbers. That is the difference. You can find me on the internet on various places such as Twitter, Twitch, Patreon, and YouTube, all under the name The Bardic Knock. I exist. Or do I? On those areas, I do. Everywhere else, in reality, I don't know, because what is existence? Is comprehension existence? Is sensation existence?
Well, you better
I don't
exist,
know.
because I plan to eventually come over and visit someday.
Do
Come
any
down
of
and
us
swing through your
exist?
house.
Are we all just part of some giant computerized system of something trying to comprehend its existence? Are we a deific creature experiencing mortality?
If we're living in the computer, my job sucks. Change it now.
Or are we just a bunch of nerds who are going to make pretend like we're not nerds and actually super awesome, and some of us lesbians, and well, with that in real life as well? Or I don't know, existentialism.
No, yeah, I'm super gay in real life too.
Wait,
Pretty
since
checked out
when?
on that. I guess since someone decided to put this flag behind me.
Those bastards
Last week.
just slapping flags down, and all of a sudden, gay.
That's a big
Sounds
talk
fun.
coming from a Brit.
Well, we don't talk about all the places we put flags down. We like to pretend that didn't. Well, actually, no. Lots of people like to pretend that it was a great thing, and it really wasn't.
They
It
like
was
to
a terrible,
pretend that they're
terrible
still
thing.
there.
It was a terrible, terrible thing, and history is filled with terrible, terrible. Hi, welcome to the party. Not discussing that. You can support Welcome to the Party on various platforms, such as here on Twitch. We're not on Twitter. Twitter is not this. You can support us by following. That is absolutely free to do. Or you can donate money either by subscribing, and you can do it on a monthly basis. Apparently, since I didn't really know this until recently, but since Twitch here is owned by Amazon, that Amazon Prime you've got, you can use that and you can get a free subscription. Or you can use that to get a subscription to a Twitch channel. I think that's a thing. I think Twitch Prime is still a thing. So you can do that, and you can give more money to the capitalist machine that is Amazon, because we all have feelings about that. Fucking Bezos.
Becca with your Amazon box in the background.
It's a cat bed. Thank you.
That's fine. I can't say the A word around this house.
It's what's so frustrating because we can all recognize it's a bad thing, but it's also so fucking convenient.
Right.
Ugh, if only I didn't. If only I had, morals and integrity. I'd not use this really useful service. And
or
stand up
enough
for
money
things I
to
believe in.
be able to do that.
Ugh. If only
That
my
would be
morals
great.
were cheap.
All right.
So anyhow, other ways you can support Welcome to Party. So you can do that. You can subscribe, and if you do that every month, you get to give a little bonus to a player of your choice. Most people will take an advantage. I will take a crit because I think it's funnier. You can also donate bits. Bits are awesome. You just throw your pennies at us. Just get them in a sock, throw them at us. Figure out how to make that work on the computer because that's actually slightly more useful. But you can do that, and if you get 500 of them, you can affect the game in a small way, usually mechanical. So crit, max damage, etc., etc. If you do give 1,000, you can affect the game in a different way. I will be looking at the chat as soon as my little didgeridoo dad. Oh, that's so not updated properly. I'll sort that out. As soon as that sorts itself out, and I can see the chat, I'll look at it, and you say, "Hey, I want a thing to happen." I'm like, "Yeah, that thing can happen. Throw 1,000 pennies at me, and it'll happen." That is the amount of sentences I never thought I'd say, and then I do. Leads me to question many, many things about my life choices. But aside from that, you can follow Welcome to Party over on Twitter at Welcome Party RPG. You can find them on YouTube at youtube.com/Welcome to the Party. And you can find them on Patreon, where you can donate money to help keep this wonderful channel afloat. And that is on patreon.com/Welcome Party RPG. In the chat, if a bot is working, I don't know if it is, you can just do !Patreon, and I'll tell you about that. You can also join our Discord server down below if you want to find more of these super cool, awesome, all-inclusive, amazing nerd people to talk about various things, such as Dungeons and Dragons, food,
video games, TV,
yeah,
cats, memes. Let's see. Nope, can't talk about that one. Nope, can't talk about that one.
Oh,
That one, okay. Well, basically, you can need to go there and.
Yeah.
check it out. Discord server is down below. It's awesome stuff, and you too could become a person who does things on this channel. And because Welcome Party is all about teaching people. It's about helping and teaching and growing and supporting. So you join, you might find a game, and you might get on the channel. You can be a part of it, and then you might run a game, and then you can do all this, and you can learn how to do all this amazing, awesome, cool, happy stuff in an all-inclusive, supportive environment. So go check that out. If you also want more Welcome to Party content, you can actually find the good stuff, not this, over on the podcasts. You can find the podcast on Google Play, on iTunes, and on Podbean, and that is all under Welcome Party RPG. And in the future, there's going to be much, much more of those, providing we get more people to support the Patreon, because then we get more money, which means we can pay more editors to make more things. So if you want more, give money. That is how sales works. I did say everything. So, players. I can't see a screen yet, so I'm just gonna throw it off in a random direction. Shan, who are you?
I am Shan, channel logic across all the internet, and I am playing Greg, the half-orc lesbian gunslinger who is now going to be a diplomat to dragons, I think.
Yeah, sounds about right. These are normal sentences.
Yeah, both of you are green, both of you breathe fire, in a way.
You just breathe it through a metal tube.
Right. It's kind of like
in your hand.
smoking.
I thought you were saying I was just really good at rapping.
Oh.
You do spit lyrical fire, though. I need Greg to rap at some point.
No. No.
Okay, another person. Oh, we can't get the poutine to talk. That's a shame. TJ should be here soon. Hopefully he is off delivering a hedgehog to somebody. So, Cody, you're back.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I am. Back from, I feel like you wanted me to go further with that. I am back from from Europe, where it was not nearly as hot as it is over here. This is a fact that was hard to communicate to them, and I enjoyed most of the food and talking to different people about different things, mostly having to rework my speech to old world speech. That was a challenge. I went paragliding. So that was good. I play Kid the Dark Horse, who is an Eldritch Knight, which is kind of like a fighter, wizard, and that's about how it goes. And I've been out for 2 weeks, so I'm interested to see exactly where everything goes, because I have a very TLDR perspective going on, so it should be fun.
Yeah. Thank you for that, Cody. Rebecca, who are you?
I'm Rebecca. I play Utswa, the dwarven warlock who's driving Greg crazy. So there's that. This is
Oh,
a
you've been driving
This is
her
a
crazy
weekly
since the very
basis
first
now.
moment.
Huh?
Oh, you've been driving her crazy since the very beginning, honestly. But just
Weekly
not in that way.
basis. This is how it is. They have a routine now.
And finally, any regular viewers, there is an unfamiliar face, unless you happen to catch the last time they were here for a special guest slot. We have the wonderful Shogun. Shogun, who are you?
I am playing as Natalie, the elven cleric, and I have a question. Should I do
Yes.
this?
Well,
Or is
what's
that
this?
too much? Popping up the collar
God, we're
all the way.
no, we are powerless to stop you.
I'm kind of into it.
I might do
Yeah.
that.
Mm,
Alrighty.
I don't know if this collar pops. Kind of. It's not very good.
This one can go above my ears.
I like it. Actually, no, that looks really cool. That's nice. I dig it.
All right.
All right. TJ will arrive when he does. Don't blink.
Babysitting a pineapple right now.
Yeah, will arrive if and when he does. Dummy introductions. Recap time. You found out what's wrong with Eliza. Turns out has nothing to do with the spooky armor. More so it's the fact she has had a co-pilot residing in her, specifically the deific embodiment of winter, known as the Holly King, or the Dark Holly King, or whatever you want to call it.
Santa.
Yeah, let's call it Santa.
Person fucking up my wife. How fucking dare they?
Yeah, they were. Or, to another argument, they just didn't want to die.
I'm
They wanted
bitter
to.
about this.
It was- So yeah, that's what's been going on.
This looks silly.
Keldor had a conversation with a dragon lady. You learned a little bit about the Society of Dragons. There's a couple of them hanging up in a mountain. They've got essentially a bunch of enforced servitude as such. Not nice people doing not nice things, but they're very powerful and probably of use to you. The voice in Utswood's head is still telling her to kill Eliza and tuck Utswood's finger for not doing it.
Yeah,
That's the thing.
yeah.
Have I missed anything, or is that basically everything?
Flick is currently like contemplating murder, but you know
That's perpetual for Flick, honestly. But
that's true.
but specifically a murder of Eliza, he has no idea what to do about that. He's figuring it all out. Okay, there. I think that is everything covered. Where we left off, you had a good long rest. It's now 7 in the morning or whatever particular time you so choose it to be, an appropriate time to gallivant off into the wilderness doing things. What do?
I think we were getting ready to leave, weren't we?
That is pretty much it, yeah.
Everyone but me was here last year. Or last. Yep. Words.
Rebecca, we're relying on you to be our guide.
Oh no.
Set the tone.
Terrible idea. Okay. Well.
Just to clarify, all of us are here, right?
Well, Natalie isn't.
Yeah.
So, I was going to cover that in a second after you lot all figure out what the heck you're doing and how you're setting off and all that jazz, but...
Okay.
So do I have like a speech prepared that you want me to talk to the dragons about? Because I'm not exactly the most charismatic person in the world. I don't know why you're appointing me to this.
You're the most serious part of this party. Minus
That's true.
Paco.
What? Since
Oddly
when?
enough. Yeah, oddly enough.
Since ever.
All
Kid's got his
right. I
tactician
mean,
cap on right now, so he's just kind of looking to get escape route.
Oh, thank God I missed that. Tactician cap.
We'll see how well.
Is Kid still wanting to dress Oots up in his whatever thing he had?
Dress
I don't
me.
think
Hold
it'll
on, let me get
work.
to put you in the finery. Yes, Kid technically is wearing the, or was wearing the very fine outfit that we scavenged from the broken down castle. Yeah, he's more than happy to dress you up in that if it fits. We might need to take in the edges a little bit or something.
Well, I mean, I wonder what's wrong with what she's wearing right now. You know, a little bloody, but you know, there's nothing wrong with that.
I don't know. Do we want ostentatious right now? Do we want ostentatious or regal?
Do you get a choice? I don't think you can escape ostentatious.
Putting her in a new pair of clothes is gonna change her personality from "fuck you, I'm a dwarf."
Okay, but did we at least brush her hair?
She brushes her hair every day of
Mhm.
the month.
I've got
Once a month.
if
prestidigitation.
anything,
prepared
Greg
just in
looks
case.
like a dusty hobo. So like,
See that? You know what? I'm gonna have prestidigitation prepared so I can guzzy y'all up at the last moment.
Dusty hobo and a crazy dwarf. This is great.
Yeah, who needs makeup when I can just change the pigmentation of your face?
Mine's fine. Talking
what's
about
wrong with green?
and tan, dark tan. What's wrong with that?
Makeup can make anything better.
Wasn't you with? Alright, you're out of this conversation now.
Hmm. Oh, Kid's not even paying attention. He's just saying these things out loud to himself.
Okay, so I am assuming this kind of rambling and bickering is the only word I can really refer to this as. I'm assuming this is going on as you are having some kind of breakfast and getting, you know, whatever provisions and whatnot packed and sorted because you've got to go hike up a mountain.
Oh yeah, I'm munching on an entire carrot, and also putting together all of the not red meat because red meat will definitely hurt our stomachs as we're going up this mountain, but lots of really high protein foods to keep us
Is
ready
it
to
a
go.
carrot or a rock carrot? Gotta specify in this place.
I don't know what tastes better.
Oh,
One's a rock, one's a carrot.
You soak the rock carrot long enough in beer, it tastes amazing.
Huh?
Probably.
That is an interesting thing. Tell you what, I like the concept of soaking something in beer that much. So yes, yeah, I'll do a rock carrot.
All right, yeah, you know, basically what this rock carrot looks like. Imagine just I don't care which way around it is. It's basically a stalactite or mite. Fuck it. With a slight orange coloration. If you submerge it in water, it just starts to. You can just see it ever so slightly kind of break off into the water and soften. It's still gonna break your teeth a little bit, like, but it's now edible.
Okay, yeah, that sounds good. I'll go for that. Got me a good rock carrot ready to munch. And that'll be it. Basically, it's got that nice, satisfying crunch noise every time.
Yeah. Sometimes it's a carrot, sometimes it's your teeth.
Mm-hmm. I
It's
don't know.
all
We'll
good,
figure it out.
really.
We've got healing spells entirely for this purpose.
Is it mending or is it cure minor wounds?
I don't know.
Tape.
I've seen a couple spells that require teeth, so I guess we'll see how this goes.
Tape
Okay.
your teeth together, it's fine.
Yeah. It'll be fine. Good enough transmutation spell will be fine.
Who needs teeth? So, whilst all this is going on, Shogun, the
Yes.
last time we saw your character, you were riding down a collapsing building on a giant snake made out of bones, dragging along the corpse of your son.
Mm-hmm.
These are normal things.
Yes.
That entire city then got like bombarded and turned to dust by a giant flying fortress of death, basically.
Such a shame.
What have you been up to since then?
I've been gathering my family.
You want to specify more on that, or is that just gonna?
I think for now, I think what's important is that would it be fair that because I do have access to scrying powers, that I would know maybe not why, but where the party is going?
Oh, 100%. If you've been wanting to keep an eye on
I
them,
have, yes.
these people can't defend against scrying. They sent their only wizard away.
So I would like
Okay, I
to
resent that statement.
I would like to arrive there with Taliesin and one of his older brothers,
Mm-hmm.
and meet them there, but like be waiting at outside the entrance, a distance away. I don't want to like disturb the dragon people, but you know,
Well, at this exact
meet them on the
moment in
road if
time,
possible.
Well, at this exact moment in time, the party are in a nice little house in a village at the foot of a mountain, waiting to ascend it. At the top of the mountain is where the dragon people hang out.
That's pretty good then.
So,
yeah.
So do you just want to hang out in town, or are you just gonna like stand like essentially down the driveway and just wait for them to come and go?
Yes.
Hi.
Yes. Yeah, I want to wait like just outside the town, and as soon as they leave, they'd run into me.
Okay.
But I will
Wonderful.
send the Naga away to like just be somewhere nearish, but like not around. I don't want it around. I don't want to spook them.
I'm trying to think if there's a really silly thing it can do, but no, my mind is going, no, it'll just bury itself underground. It's like, could it just disguise itself as a really white tree? Just stands itself upright. No, it'll just bury itself underground and be out the way.
Yeah. I don't need that thing.
Team. Who are you bringing with you? Who is on expedition? You've got your entire cavalcade of NPCs who are all just kind of hanging out at the tavern going, boy howdy, sure are glad that we exist when...
Mateus, get your ass out here.
Hello, I'm in.
Okay, he can't speak that well, but he can likely tell us what to say.
Yes.
Alrighty. That and we also
like
see,
a foot.
see, we're going to negotiate for the pool, if possible. So that might be something we can enable, and perhaps having an example would be the best. So, yeah, always good to have a bard along whenever you're negotiating.
Okay, I'm down for this.
Bards are nice.
Yeah, either you'll gain more allies or you'll gain more NPCs through time.
Sure.
Alrighty. Let's see. And who else do we want to bring? Oh, we did want to bring Eliza.
Yeah, about that.
She's kind of passed out from his house, so hope we should touch that right now.
Do you think she'll be fine by the time that we get there? We don't have any. I mean, we got Keldor with us, so we can do the thing that Flick always says about dog.
I mean, bringing her along might jeopardize the entire thing. Like, as far as what she might fucking say.
Can she speak Draconic?
Not that I know
I
of.
think so.
Then it
You
might not
have no
matter.
reason to believe that she can.
But Greg
might
does
not matter.
now.
Yeah. We had Notad give her dragon abilities. Yeah, we could definitely have Keldor possibly carry her, and if she wakes up before we get there, we could definitely be fine. I don't know. Party vote though.
I don't think we should bring Eliza based off of the past 2 episodes. I mean, the past couple of days have been really rough. We shouldn't bring Eliza.
Alright, well, in that case, Relithor. If we're
Oh,
concerned
God,
about what someone would just say, we can be fine, but at the very least, we can escape on the back of something fast, if we need to.
just realized Relithor hasn't spoken in like 4 episodes.
Oh.
No wonder everything felt so normal. Where's my There's the Relithor. Okay. So, you want me to come and talk to the danger lizards?
Perhaps the opposite of that. We just want you there for backup. You're our secret weapon. If nothing else, you speak for the trees, right?
Oh, I speak to the trees. I'm always secret. Relithor turns into a bunny and sits on Kid's head.
Oh, it's so cute.
I'm going to I'm
A
going
bun
to
with a
take
beard, yes.
and I'm going
course.
to just I'll sit there and hold him because that's the place where Sugar used to live. So
Aww.
we're going to do the Oh, that's a thing. I'll bring that up later.
So, Kid, you're now carrying a chuckling bunny.
Mm-hmm.
Why do I make this shit up?
This is your plan. This is what you've done. This is a
What?
hell of your own creation.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Alrighty.
These two
I
ought to be
assume
fun.
you have a bunch of mountaineering stuff. You climbed a mountain before. You've done this.
Mm-hmm.
I guess. Walls are scary, Matt.
So yeah, as soon as they leave the town, I would be there, just wave at them.
Yeah. Team, as you exit town, you see, well, at least to half of you, you see a somewhat familiar face. Shogun, you give a description of Natalie again, please.
You see a gaunt, very pale elven woman who is flanked by 2 dark knights. Like they're wearing kind of rusted armor, and you can't see their faces. They look menacing. All 3 of them.
Okay.
Oh, hell. What do we have to kill now?
Hello.
Oh, I thought you were dead.
Ah. If only.
My God. Okay, well, it's good to know that someone else managed to escape the city. Man, how'd you get out before the entire tower got destroyed?
I hitched a ride.
We did too. Although
I saw
admittedly,
that.
you didn't come with us on the back of Nota. So that's oh my God. This is actually pretty good because now, in lieu of Eliza, we actually do have someone who can potentially get us out of a bad. Actually, I'm gonna go ahead and ask, what's your business here?
Yours. You, in fact.
Really? How did you
I'm
know we were here? I mean, admittedly, there's only maybe 3 places that have not been destroyed by the Sorcerer King, so still, 1 out of 3 is still not great odd.
Are you protected against magical spying?
Only in dreams, and I'm still iffy about whether or not that plan will work.
It was not very hard. But do not worry.
That's a concern.
I'm invested in your success.
Well, that's definitely good to know. Do you speak Draconic?
Not unless Bardic says otherwise. For being ages old.
Well,
But no, it's... I guess not.
If you can justify being able to speak it, you're Christ knows how old. So
At least
you want to be able to,
2,000 years old.
yeah.
So,
So you want to justify it? I'm down.
okay.
All right. So I guess
It's
to give you the very brief situation of what I understand of scrying,
Hmm.
we've got to go talk to an undead dragon or something, whoever's in charge of this entire place, and see if we can convince them to help us. Because if that thing's still in the air and still destroying everything, we're gonna be we're kind of outmanned. We're thinking maybe some dragons might be able to even out the odds a little bit.
Agreed.
So, do you have any experience with dragons?
Um, enough.
Okay. Especially if it's the undead kind. I think that was your good stuff, right? Or no, can you just kill people? Or...
I have I have an affinity to the undead. Yes.
I am so glad that Reginald's not here right now. Okay. There's a reason
Speaking
why
of
we can't have him
which,
come.
I know it does you no good, but
Mhm.
to know that he's fighting it with every fiber of his being might bring you some solace. Taliesin, apologize for what you did. And yeah.
Okay. So upon hearing that and hearing the one that makes its noise, I think Relthor would probably drop to the ground with a squeak. Um, as Kid attempts to deliver a flying.
Yeah.
I'll go ahead and roll that roll.
You're doing a what?
It's gonna say, basically, Kid's proficient in unarmed fighting.
Uh-huh. Oh, so
He's
you just
doing
run up and
first
like
strike.
punching it. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Basically a flying knee.
Natalie will hold her hand out at the undead and will it to not defend itself.
Okay. I'm still making the roll. There we go. So basically, Kid just delivered all of his malice into this thing's head. That's a critical.
Nice.
Nice.
Shogun, I know you have. I'm assuming these things have stats, but you know, between the two of you, if you want to role play and decide what occurs here, I'm down for it.
I was thinking its head comes off, and I will just take that and hold on to it for. In fact, I'll pick the head up and give it to his brother to hold on to.
I like to imagine that the brother just kind of holds it, looks a little confused, and just puts it in a bag on
Yep.
his belt. There we go. No one wants to look at that. It's out of the way, out of sight, out of mind.
Well, he's a.
Going to. Okay.
Oh, they're both. He's an undead as well, so he's just got it there, and just leave the corpse there. I'll have someone deal with that.
What are you talking about? Kid says. These things don't need heads. It's not forgiven,
Well, obviously.
but that was some welcome stress relief.
Yes, like I said, I know it won't actually do any good, but maybe make you feel better.
Whilst all of this is going on, Relifor the rabbit hops over to a rock cabbage patch, digs one out, and hops back over, hops up to the now headless, not horseman, and just puts a rock cabbage on its head, like on its shoulders, and hops back down, and looks very smug.
Kid'll
Gorgeous.
pick him up.
Actually,
Okay.
I have a question for you. Real quick one.
Mhm.
What do you think is a good name for a snake? If you were to have one as a pet?
Spice.
Spice. I like it, yes. Spice, could you collect Taliesin's corpse?
At that moment, the ground beneath you begins to shake as you feel it shift ever so slightly. Kid, you were in the prison tower. You recognize this as this giant serpent made up of entirely bones kind of just erupts out from beneath, and it swallows Taliesin's body whole. And then it just sits there, coiled, seeming to respond to Natalie.
I'm feeling more confident about our odds.
I was hoping so.
Really?
Shoo. I just like, shoo. Go on, Spice.
It's
Uta just leans over to Greg. He's like, "What the heck is going on? This is so cool."
This is cool. I mean, I'm shitting my pants a little bit. This is a giant bone snake.
It's cool.
You know what? I want
Right.
Relithor the rabbit to ride the bone snake. Well, actually, Relithor can use a natural spell, so can do spells whilst in rabbit form. Going to create a small amount of vines, and essentially create a little harness and leash, and
Oh my
sit on
God.
the back, like sit on the bone snake, and be like,
Oh, this is terrifying.
Oh dear.
And I just sort of step to the side. I'll follow you.
All right. Okay, so our main diplomat is Greg here.
Yo.
We have a feeling that she'll shoot him straight.
Phrasing.
That's not a pun. All right.
There are many ways that it's going to be interpreted.
Okay, so how are you with mountains? I said.
Me?
Yes. Because we have bad experiences with walls, and I think I might have figured out a way, but people don't seem to like what way I figured.
I'm not inclined to hiking, if that's your question. But
Oh, there's inclines, all right.
I'll
Damn it, kid.
I'll be fine.
Okay. Then let's
I've
go.
heard about these fabled walls. They're so dangerous.
All right. So let's
All right. Keldor. Keldor basically knows the way. He got pointed out, so Keldor's gonna like scout ahead a little bit. It's pretty easy. You know, as you head on out, Keldor will show you where he scouted before. I'm like, oh yeah, this is where I got attacked by a dragon. I think orcs used to live here. They don't anymore. That's the thing. Ooh, we're at a mountain. Quick transition.
I hope that was Keldor singing that song the entire time we were going.
It is now.
Okay, nice.
So
Okay.
you're at the base of a fairly tall mountain. It looks as if it has a, unlike back at Scarfell, where it was a somewhat rounded mountain, so there was a path you could follow up it. This one seems like a much more sheer cliff face.
Okay,
What
this is
do?
going to take some doing. Well, my climbing spell only works for 20 feet, so that probably won't help us too much right here. So, I think the first step is we need to get whoever's our best climber to start making our way up, unless we have someone who can fly.
How high is the cliff face?
I am just getting a vague estimation of that. Okay, so that's a lot of feet. What's a more reasonable mountain than that? That one. That's one I've walked up. How tall are you?
Do you have rope on you? Plenty?
Yeah. You can. I don't know how good you people are at like mountaineering and whatnot. Vague estimation, somewhere between 4,000 and 5,000 feet to the peak.
Okay. That's not as bad as the tree,
All right.
so we can probably handle that.
Each of you should get a hold of some rope.
I think we do have... Yeah, I think Keldor carries some. If not, we can use Flick to make the troll gut rope.
You only need about 10 feet per person.
Oh, we can make up to 300 feet with a troll gut rope. Yeah, that'll work. Okay. Everyone grab hold of some intestine.
I hate my life.
How
You
much
don't hate me.
how much would you charge for this rope?
This?
Yes.
That's up to Flick. I gave it to him.
Oh, all right. It just seems very nice.
It's fine.
Sounds
We had to kill some
terrible.
trolls for it.
All right.
So,
Spice.
let's go ahead and stick in the point. Oh, can Spice climb?
At that moment, the bone naga erupts its head out.
So
right
my
before the
thought
rabbit is still
is that since basically a snake skeleton is just ribs, that's basically all it is.
Mm-hmm.
We would put people on the back of it, and then it would jab the sharp ends of the ribs into the mountainside, and then crawl along like a centipede.
I mean,
Not
yes,
terrifying?
it could do. The other option, depending on how long you people feel you are capable of holding your breath for, well, as you can see, this creature is perfectly capable of burrowing.
Oh, that as well, yeah.
So you could just dig up inside the mountain and occasionally pop out for breath. Whichever you think is more... Like, both are perfectly viable, because bone nagas have a natural climb speed.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they can just do it. So if you all just climb up on the back of it, you can just...
Yeah, my thought was just use the rope to tie ourselves to its spinal column and stay secured there and ride
Yeah.
it up.
I'm personally all about this idea.
I may be a dwarf, but burrowing sounds terrible.
I've just realized I'm probably not doing a great job, because I keep forgetting to like hammer in, like, with it being a bone naga, like, it's a serpentine body, you know, so very serpent-like and everything. But snakes don't have shoulders. But towards the head
Uh-huh.
end, it seems to have a large, elongated humanoid face.
Yeah.
With almost like a king cobra-esque hood around it made of bone.
Which I'm sure doesn't make it any more terrifying.
No. So just so we all know what we're looking at, you know, like glowing green eyes that look as if a fire.
How enormous is this thing?
This creature is.
Can I ride
what's the-
inside of the skull?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my seat.
It's the size category larger than. Okay, so medium is 5 by 5 foot, large is 10 by 10 foot, huge is 15 by 15. What's 20 by 20? Is that
Humongous.
colossal?
No, it's
Humongous?
one.
Yeah, so it's the
Gotcha.
one above that. It's 25 by 25 foot. But long. So
It's
yeah.
a colossal creature. Awesome. Yes. So it's going to just reach down and eat me, basically, just snatch, and then I will be inside of the skull, and you all can hop on.
Oh dear.
These are the type of friends we make, Greg.
How am I the most normal person in this goddamn group?
I mean, that's
You're not
debatable,
trying
Greg.
hard enough, Greg. That's why. You're not trying hard enough to be weird.
Let's just get on the weird elf lady's bone snake and not think about double entendres, shall we?
All right.
I wasn't thinking about it before, Greg, but thank you.
A thing I've learned, friend, is that as complicated as it might be, all your choices lead to your current situation.
Riding on top of a snake made of bones.
Yes. In some way, someone amongst your group made some choices that made this reality.
That is-
And by extension, logically, each individual member of this group made decisions to get them to be a part of this group that lead. Yeah.
All right. So let's get on.
That right there is Natalie's primary argument for why she is not evil. If you get yourself killed by her, you just made a bad choice that got you in that situation.
Alrighty. Okay, so as we're riding on this thing, the only thing Kid's thinking is, honestly, not as good as flying, but I like the fact that this wall is taking all the punishment for what it's done to us.
Hmm.
I would imagine
Uh,
it's not the smoothest ride.
It's not. It is not the smoothest. Um,
Well, I mean, it is for me. I have like some cushions
yeah.
that my son has been packing along.
Inside the skull, it's got a bunch of like satin throws and cushions,
Yes.
a decanter of wine.
Yes.
Um, okay, so out of
We're riding
curiosity,
economy class.
Yes.
out of curiosity, are you just going straight up, or do you go? You're going, all right, that might be a bit severe, or we're gonna circle around a couple of times.
Well, it's a snake, so we've like back and forth. We'll kind of lessen it. So yeah, we will take longer to not be going straight vertically up.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
This is good because this way I get to describe things. As you kind of spiral round the mountain, you go up a little bit and you can see, wow, we're really high up. I can see my house from here, where it was before it got burned down. Basically, the higher and higher you get, on the southern face of the mountain, you can almost see like the entire country of Fife. Fife is not a big country. You can get a good view of most of it. You can see the other mountains at the far end. You can see the burning smolders of areas. You can see, wow, this place is kind of screwed. Um, when you circle around to the north face of the mountain and you look outwards, you see nothing but frozen wasteland. Fife almost shouldn't exist. You know, it seems to make zero sense as to why this one area, like this one valley, has thriving agriculture and can sustain life, where everywhere else on this landmass is just Arctic wasteland. So, stuff occurred, one would assume. And, if you keep looking around, you will notice what things like there were small settlements around the mountain. Most of them seem to not exist anymore. Remnants, much like the camp Keldor was at. None of them would be large enough, and it's not. You could see a sigil of like the Black Claw or anything like that. But yeah, orcs were there. Now they're not. Stuff happened. Yeah. As you ascend higher and higher, you soon find yourself perforating through the cloud, the cloud layers, and it's ungodly cold. Like, I mean, one would assume you've either got people. Well, Relifor can just slap you over endure elements if need be, but so mechanically you don't need to worry about it. But it's chilly, very chilly. You can feel and see your breath. You like every part of you will go, wow, not pleasant, very cold. And you can just finally, if you look out when you are above the clouds, you can look out and you can see glistening blue oceans that seem to lead off to other lands far and wide that look much nicer and happier than Fife. You, you don't know if they are. It's like, well, it just looks nicer. That place looks fine. No one's burning down cities and giant flying machines over there. And speaking of giant flying machines, eventually, because it does kind of stick out, it's the only other thing in the sky. A good long, long way away. And it looks like it hasn't really moved much from the site of Dunkirk, but there is still a hovering, flying monstrosity there that seems to be enjoying itself. In fact, it might be because it's far away and you're having to make it up in your mind, but you swear it's a little bit bigger. No. Distance is weird. Life is weird. But eventually, you reach, near the peak, and there is a very obvious entranceway. It's very large. One would assume large enough for a very large winged lizard to come and go as they please. It seems to It seems dug into the side of a mountain. It's basically like a little landing strip. So it's got little torches at the side, and it's like, yep, this is the entrance to a cave, a cavern, one would say.
We're making quite the entrance today. Just oh,
Bone
That's
snake.
fine.
yeah.
When in Rome, do what the Romans do, and apparently, if they deadify their reptiles here, then so we're among friends.
Okay. So I'm assuming nobody. Well, I don't know. First of all, I'm assuming nobody nopes out and just jumps off. Because I'm done. I'm assuming nobody does that. So you arrive. You're at this landing strip, essentially coming out of the side of the mountain. There are, surprisingly, actually, a few signs of life and activity. You can hear sounds. You can hear movement and chatter. And it's a weird mixture. There is both very broken common and draconic. There's a whole plethora of different voices. Some are very high pitched and yappy. Some are resembling a low growl. It seems very thriving in actuality. I mean, you can't see anybody yet because you're just hanging out outside the entranceway. But you're fairly certain you can make out, like, oh, if we pop in, that's where we'll find out what's what.
Are these everything we can see? Is it all kind of supersized for large creatures, or
Yes.
yeah? Well, I
Like,
would.
this cavern is huge, like redonkulous.
Yeah, so if for them this is just like the driveway, it's still probably like a mile long. So I'm gonna stay in the giant bone snake.
Always good choices. As you protrude in, resisting so hard to make comments about the bone snake entering the dark cavern. I don't know. As you do that, you notice that this isn't like some musky abandoned cave. This isn't like the mines back at Scarfell, which maintained but not great. Like, no, this place is, quite frankly, glorious. This is a better setup than any city you have been to. The walls are clean. There is lighting, and almost immediately as you get in, you can just see basically down the entire mountain. You can see down the inside. Almost the entire inside of this mountain has not been hollowed out per se, but there is an entire civilization residing inside of here. Layers upon layers upon layers. There's stone stairs, there's wooden platforms, there are domiciles and businesses, and so much just built on the inside of this mountain. And amongst it all, you can see a variety of reptilian and lizard like peoples, both humanoid sized, resembling the lizard folk who you have encountered, some which appear to be much more draconic in nature, either you know humanoid looking dragons, which you haven't really come across yet, being dragonborn, or half dragons, which seems to be much more so. And then interspersed between all this, you can see teeny tiny people who you have met before as kobolds, and they're just kind of running around. There's loads of stuff going on in here. It is a draconic paradise tucked away inside this mountain of Draxspire. And of course, the giant bone snake kind of peers in, and most people kind of go, "Ah!" and stop and look at you and go like, hey?
The Naga will
stand there kind of awkwardly.
lean down and kind of like nuzzle itself into the earth, bringing where everyone is at down to near the ground level, so everyone can step off. And Natalie will step out of the skull and bow just towards the crowd of draconic beings. And
I'm going to do what Note had always told me to do if I ever encountered a dragon, or like a whole bunch of dragons at once. I'm going to copy the bow, and I'm going to say exactly what phrase he told me to say in Draconic. I'm going to say, Redition de web, which translates to, oh good, Matt knows what it means.
I took
Hopefully
French.
that works. Yes, you did. I was counting on that. It means
I
we
want to
surrender.
explain to other people so you know what the fuck
Yep.
you just said.
Yep, we surrender.
Oh. Oh my god, Greg, I got thrown off almost like 5 times. That was horrible.
We're all so screwed.
Did it get on your outfit?
What?
The kid says as he's bowing down, did it get on your outfit?
A small kobold steps forward. This kobold seems slightly older. Unfortunately, I can't say, oh, they've got a long beard. Like, no, because they don't grow them. So however a kobold looks old, it's that. I don't know how that works. You know, maybe it's got like a slight whitening in the eyes, you know, to signify age, or you know, some of its scales look slightly decolored. It's got a little walking stick, and it just kind of goes, "Hello."
in common.
Oui. Hello.
Oh, it's so cute.
Well met.
Are you in charge here?
No.
Could you take us to who's in charge here?
Oui.
Thank you.
Ah. Apologies. You said, can I? And I can? You didn't say, will I?
Will you kindly take us to who is in charge here?
It holds out a little claw.
I know what you want. I am not the keeper of the money. We established this a long time ago. We need to give him something worth, something of value.
Here. I offer up Taliesin's older brother. You can have him.
What does it do?
Whatever you tell him. I'll take this back. I take Taliesin's head back.
And just kind of, the little creature, they just kind of ponder and look at this and go, do I need to say special words? Or it just does the thing?
Just tell it what you would like.
Walk off the cliff.
He will start going. He's going.
Yep, just walks, keeps walking. And
Is that what
as
you
it
wish?
does, it collapses, it just walks off the edge of a cliff, and
Yep.
this little kobold claps its hands and does a little happy celebration dance. Going, this amused me. I'm really not important. I'm just a person.
I reach down and pick him up by his head and hold him eye to eye with me.
Hello.
I am important. And very soon
You
your
roll
master
intimidation on that.
will consider me much more important than you. I will do that. Wonderful.
Nat 1. I'm trying to think, how can that be undermined? You know, you've done that, you picked him up, you've said this really freaking badass thing. Damn, because I was gonna let you have that for that one. Think the kobold's just gonna look at you. It's gonna give 2 real slow blinks, just blink, blink. You know who's in charge here?
Yes.
Okay, just checking. Should I'll keep out of your way and just let you go speak to them.
I just let go.
Hits the floor, scampers, pulls himself up, and scurries off.
That was not our best first impression. This is also why I think Greg should be the one to talk. Because she didn't say anything that
Go ahead.
did a problem.
All right.
I tie
I
with
take
these
my gun.
younglings.
I take my gun and I just fire into the air to get everyone's attention.
Yeah. And everyone stops and goes, "What the fuck was that?" Well,
Can somebody take me to your leader so I may have a few words with them?
there's a almost collective silence as no one dares say anything. And they kind of look to each other and mutter. And then there seems to be like this brief moment where everyone seems to look at each other, then look to Greg, then we all point in the same direction. And they point to a staircase leading down. It looks to be a very ornate staircase. It's in reality quite obvious, perhaps, if people had decided to look around, and you might have noticed it. As it leads to what appears to be a quite large-looking dome made of solid gold, basically in the center of this entire civilization.
Ah, thank you. Y'all have a nice day. And I just start walking towards the staircase.
Thanks to be very
It goes
quick.
on
Spice
your tail.
fit. Actually, can Spice fit down the staircase?
Yeah, this is big enough for dragons.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. Spice will follow, and Natalie will walk ahead, right behind Greg, and just walking straight as if anyone in her way is just not there. Which they generally move because Spice is like 2 feet behind her.
Yeah.
Sounds like you're acting your age, honestly.
I like to imagine, like there's like several kobolds who you just get shunted out the way by, you like tap them, they turn to look at you and go, yeah, and then they just get knocked aside by this giant serpent behind you. You descend down the staircase. It's needlessly extravagant, precious gemstones, precious materials, dragon engravings. It's very much like stereotypical shit a dragon would have, like just straight up. Like if someone said dragon stuff, they mean this.
I'm dragging Flick along by the collar because he's going to be stopping at every single one of these junctions to try and pry it off.
Yeah. You reach this large golden-looking dome. There doesn't appear to be any obvious entrance point or anything like that, but the staircase seems to lead to just this area it's attached to.
No doors or anything?
Not that you can see. Or make out, obviously.
Okay. So there's a thing I can do now that I think I'm going to utilize entirely for this purpose. Once we get kind of towards the end before we walk out, because honestly we did not make the best first impression, I'm going to make sure that there's nothing waiting for us in the wrong spot. I am going to produce Shadow Kid.
Mm-hmm.
Use Trickery Devotion. I'm going to have him walk through to where he could get a good view, and then I'm going to shift my perspective to him, which is something that I can do as a result of 10th level. So I'm now able to see through his eyes.
Okay, so Shadow Kid is incorporeal, yes? So it can just...
He's an unseen servant, so kind of.
Yeah. So, as you do that, Shadow Kid phases through this giant golden dome, and when you shift your perspective to see, like, is it you can just see through his eyes, or like, is it like,
The exact wording, I can spend a swift action to transfer my perceptions to the simulacrum and perceive the world from its point of view rather than my own. I can move the
okay,
image as if it were my own body using the simulacrum's movement characteristics, ignoring terrain, flying, and the like.
okay, um, inside this giant golden dome, which is basically supported by various aspects of a mountain, um, Shadow Kid finds himself in a really normal looking room. This could be any room in any tavern. Yeah, it might have a nice-ish looking carpet, a small table and fire set, and everything is shifted down to humanoid sizes.
I'm going to take a very quick look around the room just to see if is Shadowkid alone right now.
Um, can
I can
roll
make
me a
checks
spot
through 'em.
check. Yeah,
I can make checks through them as long as they don't require a strength higher than 2.
yeah, that's fine. You're not grappling or doing anything.
Right, spot check. Just take a sweet time to roll. There we go.
13, yeah. Shadow Kid can you can make out like you think you see something just over in the corner behind like a small wooden desk. You think you see something rustling and moving around.
Okay. I can move the thing as if it were my own thing, so I'm going to walk over.
All right, yeah.
And
You
okay, go ahead.
yep. You cross on over. Shadow Kid doesn't make any sound, does he?
No, he is as an unseen servant.
Yeah. So you just cross on over. You get a little bit closer. Um, I don't know if Shadow Kid has. Well, you know who it is. You see this very stereotypically attractive woman, mohawk, essentially, like side shave, wearing somewhat revealing attire. Uh, and she's just kind of rummaging through a drawer behind this desk, looking for something.
Okay.
You would recognize this person from before.
Oh my God, is it the Ice Queen?
Yup.
Okay. Well, I can't talk through Shadow Kid yet, so I am going to attempt to, I guess, get her attention. So if there's something small that I can pick up and then just like use to make noise, like not like in a I'm going to bang a cup against the wall type of thing, but just in the case of I'm going to move something and then set it back down.
Yeah, on this desk, it's quite a standard looking. No, it's not standard. I need to stop saying these things like this normal over in America. It's basically a what we would describe as like an antique office desk. So it's kind of got a leather inlay built into it, but displayed around it with a few knickknacks and curios and whatnot. Paperweights and things like that.
Okay, I'm going to pick up a paperweight and I'm just going to tap it up and down a little bit.
And the noise takes her by surprise. She gets up abruptly, hits the back of her head on the desk in shock, and then kind of goes, takes a step back, stands up, and goes, huh. So, you're here. I don't remember opening the door for anybody. Unless this isn't actually you. Is this... Fine. She seems to reach under the desk, and you see her press something, and you hear this loud, like, buzzing sound. Everybody else on the outside, at that moment, you see the golden globe orb thing. A small entranceway kind of opens up into it, only humanoid sized, as it just kind of globs itself open.
Shadow Kid's going to move to where he can see you guys and also himself through it, and he's just going to motion like, and I'll shift my perspective back to my own body.
See, a strange thing. From outside, when this opens, you don't see inside of this room. You just see blackness, and vice versa. On the inside, you know where it has opened, but you don't see anything on the outside. You just see blackness.
Okay.
Stay, Spice.
Well, if we're gonna die, we might as well just walk right into it, right?
Yes. And Natalie will strut in the doorway.
Nice. Same thing. You're in this very normal looking room.
So as soon as I pass through the barrier or whatever, then I can see
Yes.
in and I can't see out.
Yes,
Right.
exactly.
Okay.
So Shadow Kid's still in there because he doesn't disappear for a little bit. But I'll come back and I'm just going to sit there like, I forget that you can't breathe when you do that. Okay. All right. I think I'm good. There's nothing too threatening in there. Well, I say that. I said as I walk through.
All right.
Is that what
let's
you're
just-
saying as you cross through, or is that what you say before you cross through?
Before I cross through.
Okay.
Well, let's go inside. I guess it's You're muted.
I guess we should.
It's been nice knowing you.
I'd like to point out that we're all very tired. Like, like in game and out of game. So this is perfect.
It's-
Yeah.
Natalie will give a simple bow to this person.
So I'm just trying to figure out. Is anyone telling Relifor to just stay with Spice, or are you just letting the bunny hop through as well?
I'll let the bunny
I
hop
figured the
through.
bunny would just come with us.
Yeah, bunny hops through at the very end. So you all step out. You're in this room. It's very normal looking. It's comfortable looking. Maybe slightly. It's basically a fantasy office or fantasy waiting room. Is it? A TJ.
Yay.
Hang on.
Trust him to arrive literally right before we take a break.
I figured.
Messed up all of the
Oh.
cameras.
You're
Okay,
welcome.
that always happens.
Okay. While Shogun is quickly fixing that, TJ, I'll give you a quick rundown. You met up. Well, you didn't meet her before, but the team met up with Natalie, this goth-looking elf chick, who produced a giant bone serpent, which you all rode up a mountain. Now you're inside. Inside of the mountain, there's an entire civilization of draconic creatures, kobolds, lizard folk, dragonborn, and half dragons, and all that jazz. You have descended down a very elaborate-looking staircase. It's very fancy, very dragon, lots of gems and all that jazz. And you have just stepped into a giant solid sphere made of gold. And once you step through it, you find yourself in a very standard looking room. It's very normal. It's quite comfortable. There's a little fireplace, desk, there's a few chairs and a table. And in that room is the Ice Queen, the Ice Bitch, shaved sides, mohawk, very traditionally female, but badass female is the only way I can really describe it. Just cool. So that's where you are.
Is that her official title, Ice Bitch?
I mean, it
That's
can be.
You don't say it out loud, but you know.
It was to Prim, so yeah.
Okay, so
Mhm.
rode the bone serpent up into the cave. I'm sure many jokes were had.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If not, I'm disappointed.
I wrote a joke. It's fine.
I think that's the one I basically just ripped off, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
probably.
Yeah, credit where credit is due. All comedy is taken from somewhere else. Anyway, okay, cool. Did I murder Eliza?
No.
No.
Okay, good.
No, we left her behind.
That's probably the best call.
Yeah, we acquired the cleric that uses undead creatures and decided this was the better option here.
Oh, you mean
So
the
you
cleric
rode
that
up on the
can't heal us?
I can heal. I don't want to though.
Not spontaneously.
Oh, and Relifor is a bunny.
For the moment.
Did he just freeze?
Are
Okay,
you
that's not
frozen, TJ?
Yeah, he just kind of froze in a look of disbelief.
Wait, did I put him in the wrong spot? Hang on.
He'll be back shortly. Okay. So we're assembled here. Kid and Shadow Kid have stood next to the opening where people have been coming through. And right after, when Greg comes through, they both kind of hold their hands up like, ta-da! So that we know who's in charge here.
Yeah, so present Greg as a person's talk. Meanwhile, you know, the ice bitch, as you are referring to her as, this very powerful-looking woman. She's just stood behind a antique-looking desk. It's very large. Seems to be made out of something like mahogany or some other very fanciful wood. And she just kind of looks at you and goes, "Okay, so I see talking to your hyena friend has paid off. What's your proposition then?"
Well, I feel as though we have a common enemy, and we could use your help in getting rid of it.
Well, I had preliminary discussions before. After speaking to Mother, we are somewhat amenable. The terms of this agreement will have to be very heavily hashed out.
We also understand that you might have something else that can help us out. You
No?
see, the Sorcerer King and his minions have critically wounded several members of our party. And you may possibly have a way to fix said critically wounded members, such as our friend Matthias here.
Hello. I can't talk good and I'm missing a foot. This is my character now.
Yeah, if only we could blame all of that on them. But, yeah, any help would be greatly appreciated.
And, well, I'm hearing lots of things that you want from us. Well, what are you going to give in return?
Well, we have someone you've been looking for, someone I assume is of great importance. Notad?
Did you bring Notad with you, or is he still, like, tied to Unst back somewhere?
Yeah, what did we
No,
do with
we-
Notad?
We've got him in a secure position.
Yeah.
Unst has incentive not to leave,
Mhm.
and I'm not entirely sure if Notad would be that formidable as a dragon at the moment, even to someone without use of one of his arms.
Yeah. Okay. So she kind of looks and goes, "That's a damn good trade." Okay. Well.
One more question.
Oh.
How much do you value the lives of your subjects?
Well, we like them to be well kept, and they provide many uses for us. You know, they do all of the dreary things I couldn't care about.
But What would it take for you to give me the life of one of your kobolds?
I mean, they are replaceable. And...
There's one.
Oh.
Who quite deeply insulted me.
Oh. Quite elderly looking.
Yes.
Looks as if might hold some official position.
Yes.
Yeah, they do that. It's quite commonplace, but wayward adventurers will come up here thinking they can slay the dragon. Nonsense. They're there to make fools of them, and whilst it's amusing, I think they just seem to enjoy it too much. Quite frankly, I don't care that much for them. If you want them, do you want them now?
No. Merely, I require your permission to deal with them later.
Oh, you can do it now. I can literally snap my fingers and make them appear here.
I would love to have them out on the cliffs.
Ah, okay. It's a good joke. I like that one. But it's only fair. I mean,
Thank
one
you
would
very
argue-
much. You're very gracious.
No offense to you, but one would argue a more prepared or cautious person would at least question a bit more before just accepting the first person to come up and look official. And never mind. That's more meta commentary on the actions of
I was assuming that you had
humans.
tight control over your populace and didn't understand exactly the nature of your civilization. And I mean no offense by that comment.
Oh, that's fine. Perfectly understandable. Of course you wouldn't. Nobody has understanding of our civilization. We try to keep it a secret.
And that is a compliment. You have done very well with that.
Secrecy worth?
Sorry, what was that, Cody?
How much is our secrecy worth?
Shit. I mean,
You are making allies here. Don't blackmail your allies.
well, secrecy is quite useful because, the occasional wayward adventurer is, an amusing pastime. It's when they come in swathes and swarms. How about your silence for use of the rejuvenation pool?
That can be worked out.
Wonderful. I'm assuming you haven't brought them all with you because, well, I can't imagine it's easy to bring people with severe physical disabilities up a mountainside with utter ease.
They can be
Honestly,
fetched.
If it weren't for the bone snake, the rest of us able-bodied people would have still had a huge problem.
Oh yes, that too. It has nothing to do. It's not a commentary on how a disability can affect. It's more. It's a severe mountainside. It just usually the less people to come up, the better.
We're also really bad at climbing historically.
Do you want them fetched? And I say this just kind of out to the room.
Yes, if you want them, I can tell me where they are now. Make them appear. Well, you know what? I think we can discuss more of this in the rejuvenation pools. Did you know it's a lovely spa? Actually, it's natural hot springs. So, hot springs episode, everybody. Apparently, whatever that means, and that will be coming up right after this break.
Hang on. Are we ready to go?
Yeah, quick 5 minute. We'll be back in about 5 minutes, everybody. So
Alright.
see you real soon.
Be back. I'm gonna grab a drink.
I like how we start
And we're back.
Alrighty. Hello and welcome. Jumping straight back on in with more of our Dungeons and Dragons 3.5 edition. We have TJ, but his camera is being not cooperative. So we're just gonna jump right back
I'm
on in.
still here.
Shh. Ignore the Canadian.
Sometimes I can almost hear his voice.
Hey.
Wait, if that's the case, I'll do that.
Oh, hooray! That.
I put the picture
Yeah.
back on.
Yeah,
Yay.
we
I
need
can't see what you did.
TJ, you're now represented by Poutine.
Oh, perfect. It's like everybody thinks I'm going to be insulted by being represented by the best food on the planet.
So good.
I've never had it.
Bardic?
Probably happened sometime.
Let's just
Yeah.
move on. Avoid that.
Moving on. Moving.
Back 30
Um,
seconds and toss note speed bumps. Let's go.
So, you have basically just been invited to make use of these rejuvenating hot springs to make everybody feel better, both physically, emotionally, and mentally. Well, that's not both. That's
Throat?
all
All
the
the
things.
encompassing.
The
From what origin do these springs get their power?
Good
Is
question.
it where the dragons pee?
No,
No?
no.
Small favors.
These are tied into the divine. Supposedly, the mother, female representation of nature and divinity itself. These are the tears she wept after she was betrayed.
Ah, I'll pass then.
Came out the other end. Gotcha. Okay.
I'll also avoid it for reasons, but yeah, I think that's a fair trade, definitely. Or at least I definitely think so, because we lose almost nothing for
Okay. The woman, she stands up. She crosses over to a door and she opens it, and you physically see a hallway just materialize, and it seems to stretch on for eternity. And perpetually throughout this entire hallway, there is countless doors upon doors upon doors upon doors. They just filled. They are on the floor. They're on the ceiling. There are doors inside of other doors. This seems to connect to everything. And in fact, some doors might even look familiar. You're fairly certain. I swear that's Primrose's door to Primrose's house. And flick it. Oh hey, that was a door to my secret base, but it's on. Nope, it's been burnt down. Cool. Yup.
Oh, great.
So you see all, yeah, you
Yeah.
see all of these things, and as you go along, the dragon lady, who is called Kimria, for just to remind you all, or Kim, as she goes by, she will stop at one door and she'll look and goes, I'm assuming that your allies are the Rusty Rat down at the Draxmire village, yes?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, so and she stops outside the door and she opens it, and you can see that it leads to the front door of a Rusty Rat. And so she does that, she steps out, and she gets all of your comrades, and she comes back in. All of your countless friends are here with their many, many injuries. And the whole gang's back together. Woohoo!
Did I get hit on the head on the way in here?
No, we
Yes.
can make that arranged.
Don't make promises you're not gonna want to keep, Toots. Okay, all right, everybody into the pool. Let's go. Let's go. Come on.
And she continues to guide you all down the hallway until eventually you reach. Um, there are two doors that are I don't want to say the end because that kind of defeats the purpose of this infinite hallway, but eventually you reach an area where it's like, okay, this is very clearly where you're meant to be. There is two doors side by side. One is a very, very elaborate set of stones. There are, it's square, well, cube stones slabbed in around this arched doorway, each marked with different insignias of different religions and very occult looking. And the one next to it is just a solid iron door that is covered in locks. Like just the entire seal, the edge of the door where it opens, literally dozens upon dozens upon dozens of different locks. And it looks very secretive.
I whisper to the lady, "You have a teenage son, I see?"
Yes, but that's not his room. His room is down there. Which points to another room and it's got like some angsty writing shit on it. Like I don't know what it says. Stereotypical angsty teenage son shit. That is mother's room. But here, the springs are this way. And she points through the stone archway.
Natalie will open it and let everyone else through and follow in last.
Yeah. Cody, you were gonna say something?
Yeah, I'm gonna whisper down to Flick, just a little bit like, so how long do you think you could take on that?
Well,
Like, just in case.
I can probably open a lot of them like by just knocking my hand on it, and then the other ones we'll see.
Okay. That's in our back pocket.
Yep. Lovely decor in this hallway of strange proportions.
Yes, these impregnable doors that cannot be pregged.
Good cover. We're totally oblivious. Incognito? No,
Yeah.
oblivious.
Natalie will not really an attack, so if Flick does anything about it, she'll fail. But she tries to like lightly kick him in the back of the head so as to knock him into the spring.
To knock me into the what, sorry?
Into the rejuvenating spring.
Yeah. So to describe these, as you step through the archway, you find yourself in an open air. It is outside. You can feel the cold, brisk winter air all around you. You appear to be on some kind of suspended platform. There is a crystal clear blue pool of water that seems to be emanating steam. There's a small waterfall flowing into it, and it seems to perpetually overflow from the outside. If any of you chose to look over the edge of a platform, you would see nothing but clouds. You'd have no idea what is suspending this, what makes this here, but it is very high up, very secluded. There's a little rainbow off in the distance. It's very magical looking.
Magical looking is cool.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and then in the midst of this, I get kicked in the back of the head and start to fall towards the pool. Can I make a reflex save just to see if I can stop myself from falling in?
Yeah, totally.
Okay.
With
That's
a 23,
23.
yeah. How do you want to do that? I want to imagine like you start to stumble and you kind of roll into a handstand. You just kind of handstand against the edge,
He's balancing on his toes.
Yeah, I was imagining more the balancing on the toes, and then fall backwards and like tumble past her and behind, and just be like,
Hey, let me get undressed first. Some of this shit doesn't like to get wet.
Natalie will
Plus, who doesn't like a show?
lean down next to the spring and take out Taliesin's head and hold it above the water and just touch like the very bottom edge of what remains of his neck. trying to see if this hurts him or not. She wants to know if this is like divine positive energy that like she
Okay.
suspects it is.
Interesting thing occurs as you touch the open wound of your disembodied undead son's head to to the springs. It feels heavier. He does not seem to recoil in pain. In fact, heavier still, almost as you see the open wound on his neck.
No
You
way.
see it growing and forming the rest of his neck and then his shoulders.
I pull him out and set him like away from the springs. When do you might want to
He's got-
fix
I don't know,
that?
like maybe like up to his torso, like neck, shoulders, torso, reformed, and they appear to be not decayed flesh. They appear to be alive. Like it seems to be living flesh.
Hey kid,
But
you
when he's
you hate him. Can you fix this? I can't
Yes,
carry around anything more than a head.
Not a problem. I step on his neck. Hopefully there's a good crunching noise underneath that.
Holy shit, guys!
He killed my bat. I've got no remorse.
Well, by that logic, if that works for him, then if you put Sugar's ashes in the pool, she should reform.
Yeah, he might. Actually, I had something for that, if you don't mind. I don't want Sugar to get hurt again. So I had an idea, and I don't know if it's going to work. I'm going to take out my spike chain, and I am just going to dip it in the water, and I'm going to pour Sugar's ashes into the pool around it.
Yeah. A, a light seems to emanate from the pool. Not like, ooh, holy divine light. Oh, not that. It's just something's happening. It's magical. As you see the ashes, they kind of around the chain, and you see them kind of almost get absorbed up into the chain. The chain feels lighter. It was already pretty light in the first place, but it feels lighter. And you feel it start to move of its own free will. It kind of squirms and slithers like a serpent before it coils itself up, and it seems to hover. And for the faintest moment, you see an ethereal set of bat wings behind it. So it kind of looks at you and goes, "Sup?"
Is this familiar speak, or is the horse head like speaking? Because there's a horse head on the end of the chain.
Yeah, the horse head like opens its mouth and goes like, "Hey, I feel funny."
Yeah. I might have done something a little different, and I didn't expect it to work this well.
What?
Okay,
fill me in. Last thing I remember. Well, the last
You
thing
were
I
a
remember
bat.
is that it points with like the end of the chain to a person under your foot. Last thing I remember, first of all, that was more of a person, not whatever that terrifying monstrosity is, and it said something, and then I don't remember anything.
yeah, you took one for the team.
I don't
Anyway,
recall that.
yeah, you kind of died on the spot.
Shit.
I know. Anyway,
one-sided conversation we're hearing.
let's see. Actually, I never did get the answer to the question. Does it only familiar speak, or can everyone else hear it?
No, everyone can hear this.
Okay.
Well, Sugar, after you died, I went ahead and cremated you. And I got an idea that maybe you'd be a little bit safer if I bound your soul to my weapon.
Oh. Did I explain why I smell burning hair? And iron.
Maybe. As I said,
Weird.
this worked a little bit better than I thought it would.
So, okay. I mean, I'm confused. What? Sugar has no idea what's going on. Sugar's now a sentient.
Sentient spike chain?
Yeah. It's like,
It's like Christmas
I'm
just
gonna-
came early for Cody.
Meanwhile, Natalie is down on the ground using her dagger, trying to saw Taliesin's head off.
Wonderful. Yeah, just like sawing away at it as it like just being choked out under Kid's boot.
Can
Oh wow.
just gonna unwrap her hand. Just stick it in the water.
Uswa, your finger grows back.
All right, I think we don't need anything else. You go ahead and say everybody in.
All right, everybody got naked.
Greg, finger, her hand in water. Do it.
I don't need this finger back. It's fine.
Halfling ball splash.
Kid will remove his clothes, but he's nowhere. He's not getting in the water.
Just take it out naked.
I jumped in.
I mean, anybody. I mean, okay, Kid. I can't imagine you going and looking at Utswa's hand too closely, but there is quite a thick scar remnant around the base of the finger where it
Okay,
has
so it can't handle
regrown.
scars.
Yeah, on the neck of Taliesin, you notice like there's a visible thick scar line. Like,
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Is
It-
my finger still usable? Can it bend and stuff still?
yeah, it's good as new.
Sweet.
Just a big dope ass scar on it.
All right.
Fancy.
I'll get in the water and contemplate what would happen if we had Utswa's finger.
Primrose's
Two
finger?
Utsus.
Two Utsus?
After Natalie manages to cut Taliesin's head off, she'll get in the water and leave his head out over there.
Just this
When I-
disembodied head looking on.
When I come up from the cannonball, I stand there for a second and I make sure that my chest is under the water. And I put my hand to my chest and I go, ow, hold on. Nope, doesn't work on souls. And I dive under again.
It's actually slightly amusing you say that. Everybody, when you are inside of this pool, like any damage you feel, like it's not instantly fixed, because there is no instant fix to trauma, but you feel at least more able to achieve some kind of personal resolution towards things. Things seem to make a little bit more sense. It's maybe a little bit easier to be content with something. It grants you the ability, if you so choose, to begin your personal journey of healing your mental damage.
Hey, Greg.
Yeah, I'm not getting in the pool.
I'm just. I didn't. I was asking you questions.
Yes. What is it?
Get in the pool.
I'm thinking about not doing my shop again. Like just not doing the whole merchant thing. I don't know.
Well, what would you do?
I mean, this is the third time I've lost a shop. I'm not. This is just a bad record.
Fair. But what would you do?
I don't know. Mama and Papa were merchants, but dang it, I can't do merchant stuff.
I mean, you can. It just seems odd, weird circumstances keep happening to your shop because people are full of hate.
Yeah,
I hardly think that's any business fault on your part.
I'm a great accountant, so it's not my problem. It's burning down.
Yeah, you see, because numbers are all stupid squiggly lines to me. I can't read a damn thing.
I'm aware of this heavily.
In fact, I'm pretty sure I don't know how to read.
Oh, well, we can always fix that.
I've kind of just been going it by ear at this point.
Wait, so all the receipts I had you sort. God damn it.
Was I wrong?
Yes, I realize this now. Why everything in G was under C's and Q's. And
They all look very similar.
The best conversation always happens when at least one of us is naked.
I have a question. I'm not going to do it, I don't think. But what would happen if I cast Desecrate?
These are evil thoughts.
5 by 0.
What level spellcaster are you? You're level 10, right?
Yep.
More than likely, like you can tell, this is well beyond your
Yeah.
magic tier, fundamentally. One could assume, like, if you did it, it'd probably just go no.
Okay.
However, if you are more powerful, or to a something not connected, because whatever this is, this seems to be divine. This is and connected directly to some form of divinity. If you were to separate it, say put some in a bottle and take it away, you could maybe do something to it, but not the entire thing as a whole.
All right. Yeah. Natalie will definitely fill up a large wine bottle with it.
Is the ice bitch with us?
She's stood in the doorway, just kind of watching you all, and obviously all of your friends, they jump in, and hooray, they get better. Duratara gets her foot back, and
that's not good enough. We need a reaction from every single one of them.
Oh, they're mean to you too.
You like them.
Wait, if Eliza goes in this, would that fix her issue of being possessed?
No, it might actually make it worse.
Okay.
Okay, so let's go down the line. You know what? Let's do it chronologically to when you recruited each and every NPC. First NPC is technically Mateus. He will step in. Well, he will hobble on in, and as he does so, he goes, warm, wonderful. I've got pins and needles in my foot now. This is frustrating.
I'll help you. And I just put my hand on his face and just dunk him down. Yeah, there we go. That's better.
And the bubbles stop.
Then they start again.
The bubbles stop, and his body kind of floats up. And then they start again. He goes,
Oh, that's morbid.
That's so severely fucked up.
I actually kind of miss his voice, so this is fun.
Never mind. This pool is amazing.
Okay, the next person you recruit is Angus. Angus doesn't have any severe, like physical injuries per se. But He'll jump in and goes, "Why? That's quite nice. And you know what? Like utterly debilitating depression I've been feeling. I think I can maybe start to work through that. If we've got this and got the hammer and I've got my friends, I think we can slap that Sorcerer King right in his dick. I mean, it's not going to fix anything when I get out of this, and if I don't continue to perpetually work on myself, my own perception, there's a potential I could spiral back down again. But right now, I feel pretty good. I feel grand, actually. Nice. The next I've got too many fucking NPCs. Why do I do this? Next NPC being Unst. Well, someone needs to take Notad off his back.
Yeah.
And you should probably take the castle prod off his arm.
Yeah.
Might
I'm definitely gonna drag Notad as far away from the pool as I can because he doesn't get to go in.
Oh yeah.
Another question.
Mm-hmm.
If a person has a severed limb, and you had something like, say, a cattle prod, in basically stuck to where their limb should be, and then they grow a limb back.
His limbs are there, but I don't know whether or not the fusion would happen.
Well, no, I mean, if you do, like, remove a limb, put the thing right there, would it just be permanently fused?
I mean, feasibly.
Worst case scenario, his arm grows back.
Just let him have this one thing and be normal.
Boons can be terrifying without a cattle prod arm.
Yeah. So,
Like, he could just hold the cattle prod. He doesn't have to have a cattle prod arm. You sick fuck.
So, I'm assuming you, like, release Unst of his pack mule duties.
Mm-hmm.
And
You can
he'll
hang out
walk
with
in
Taliesin.
His arms that have been, essentially dyed like deepest, darkest, void-like black. As they go in, you see the blackness, like shrivel up from his arms, and you can see like the veins underneath his skin, like pumping and pulsing, as if they are pulsing out whatever this thing was. And you see it crawls up his arms and into his chest, and he opens his mouth, and this cloud of black smoke just escapes. It just flies out of him, and it just disapparates into nothingness. And Uns kind of looks and goes, "Holy fuck! It has been inside of me. That would probably explain many, many things."
That doesn't look healthy.
Niet. Probably was not greatest idea for me and raiders to be hanging around in old castle of Sorcerer King, well, way back. Probably what that was. But I feel better now. For the first time, it does not hurt. I am conflicted and confused.
I'm going to put my arm on him, and I'm just like, solidarity.
Okay, you don't have Genfrey with you, so he doesn't get to feel better.
He's never been hurt in his life. He's probably the happiest out of all of us.
Just emotionally. So next is Duratara. Duratara, hop on over. She just sits on the side. She doesn't feel the need to jump in entirely, and she kind of goes, "Well, hot damn. It's really easy to miss having feet, but this feels good. I'm liking this. I can now kick people in the ass again, when the pieces of shit. Nice. Who did you recruit for that?"
That's everybody, I think, except for.
Well, Yeah, that's all the injured people, except Notad, who you are not letting go near the pool, who's just watching you all like slump down against something, going like, I would very much like to be in to feel better, please. No, okay.
This would gasps a moment later, like, Prim could have gotten their eye back. Damn it. This sucks.
Natalie steps out of the pool, says, This pool is fantastic. And is good for something I've wished for a very long time. And so Natalie will stand at the very edge of the pool, back to the water, and draw out her dagger and like stab herself up in her throat, and then fall back into the pool.
Okay. Immediately upon hitting the pool, like, blood doesn't even spread across the water. A moment you hit the pool, that wound is sealed, and you're alive. Just
And she rushes out of the water, standing up in the pool. That's what it's like.
Okay. I'm going to look at Utsu and I'm like, you might be the. I think she might have just taken your place as the freakiest member of this party.
I was the freakiest one.
We didn't talk about it, but like, there was.
You have to try it. It's
I don't think I will.
it's beautiful.
Knock him in the pool.
Not getting in that damn pool.
No, not kid in the pool.
I'm not gonna knock kid in the pool.
I'm in
That's
the pool.
rude.
I'm in the pool since I know it doesn't work on scars. All my minor aches and pains that were inflicted by Shan have been gone away. And Sugar's now swimming in the water next.
As a chain work.
yeah, his spiked chain is just kind of splashing around in a water gun. This is weird.
That's really cute.
It's not the only one saying that.
Why don't you want to get in the pool, Greg?
I don't need to. I'm perfectly fine the way I am. Thank you. Traumas
Got
and all.
shot in the leg.
Yeah, I wanted that to happen.
You have more trauma than I realize.
I mean, most of my family's dead. My mom
Yeah, mine
rejected me
too.
because I'm a weird half-orc. My wife's dead.
Yeah.
I've killed a lot of people.
Oh yes, yeah.
So yeah, I'm pretty traumatized.
You should get the water, Greg.
I'd rather not. Just gonna step far away so no one can push me in and just sort of like go over to and sit next to Notad.
You should try splashing Greg before she leaves.
I'm gonna try and dodge it, I guess.
What did you roll for that?
Okay,
Oh, no.
so just for ease, do opposed rolls of flat d20s.
Oh,
Damn it.
Yay!
This was strong.
Yeah, so it's where you give a big splash of water, and Greg, you step out of the way. It'll hit your foot. You notice if it's not near your hand, your finger doesn't throw back. It's like, yep, my foot's wet. And oh, that minor ache I had in my ankle from all that walking, that's gone. Cool.
You won't fix me, damn it. I'll be a traumatized bastard till the day I die.
There's
What
no
if I
magic in the
like
world
you,
that can fix that.
What do you want? What now?
There's
What
n-
if I want to? Great.
Rebecca, what are you gonna say?
It's not important. Fine.
Alrighty.
Okay. Oh god, you've still got other fucking NPCs. When Reginald gets in, he's just like, oh, nice. My stomach doesn't hurt anymore. I don't feel the constant need to drink alcohol. That's pretty cool. Yay. I mean, I don't know, maybe I will later. But whilst I'm here, right at this moment, life feels pretty darn good.
which one is their paladin?
That's Reginald.
That's Reginald.
Yeah. You know, all this very nice healing is just in exchange for a small piece of your soul.
Wait, what?
Don't worry about it.
Wait, what? What?
Isn't too bad.
What do you mean?
Just
Why?
just some minor demons. Don't worry about it.
I don't like this. I'm a good boy.
Well, now 90% of you is.
Oh. Reginald is gonna get out. Get out and cover himself up. I feel ashamed.
feel
Who
dirty.
else is? Yeah. Who else there? Sanslaw. He exists. He just kind of sits there and goes, huh? Maybe I don't need to be the depressive asshole all the time. Yeah. It sucks, all the stuff that happens to me. It's kind of shitty. But, you know, I could probably process it in a more healthy way. I probably could. Maybe I'll do that. No, maybe. Whatever. We'll see. Maybe.
And thankfully, Meat Sprinkles is with Ginthry, so.
You-
These sprinkles can't get healed.
You remind me
But
of my
there is-
14th son.
Maybe. I don't know. You ever hang out in the Gladwell Forest?
Yeah. That's where I killed him, actually.
No. You didn't set fire. Oh no, you couldn't have done that. That was the people. Never mind. Cool.
You wouldn't have met him.
No. I'm pretty old, like a couple hundred years, but yeah. I mean,
Alright.
this
Is
the.
Eliza here? I'm sorry.
Eliza is here. She has not stepped in. There is one other person to do. Finally, the bunny. Relifor, bunny hops over to it and looks hesitant, but will eventually hop on in, revert to a normal form, his dwarfy good self, and as he sits there in the water, his beard like just flowing out into it, and you go like, oh shit, that beard's like 2 foot long. It's just like, floating in front of him. His hair seeps in. He's got a receding hairline to like nearly the crown of his head, basically. And Matt's sat behind it. It's just like a small circumference of hair all around Relithor. And it's all knotted and nasty. But you know, it starts to look a little cleaner. And it's like, oh, that's nice. Relithor kind of
From the drain clog.
Relithor is. As Relithor kind of sits there, he goes. Oh. 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 My back has been killing me for. I've been hunched over a lot, haven't I? Also, throat feels a little different and off. Huh. I think I regret sitting in this now. I mean, yes, I still. Well, it's weird. For the first. Why is there no screaming? There's always screaming. I'm confused.
Do you need there to be screaming? Is that like? Is that a requirement?
I can make that happen.
No, you know the constant screaming you hear in your ears and the visages of death you see before you at every waking moment and every moment you close your eyes.
No, that is not
No,
normal.
no. Well, it's not then. I'm confused.
Would it help if there was screaming?
I don't know.
Here,
Maybe I'm just.
let's see how this works. I'm going to ghost sound, and I'm going to make it sound. I think I can make it sound like 20. All of them are screaming, but at different pitches.
Yeah, so everyone was just screaming. Ralph was like, "Oh, no, 9, no, actually,
Dismiss.
no, no, no. Turns out I was just used to it. I don't like it. Maybe that explains so many things. This is weird."
Step into the scream pools for some magical times.
Mm, oh,
Can Spice fit in the pool?
You know
No.
what? What if he became a regular Naga? What if all of his skin grew back, but like
the pool is too big. It's too small for
Okay.
Spice. And what Ralph does, he starts to stroke out all the knots and everything in his beard. He starts combing that out, and he's gonna make himself look presentable for the first time ever.
I lend him a bone comb.
Yeah. So Relifor's doing that. Relifor is now less crazy, like less essentially broken, because that is what Relifor has been for the longest time, just mentally broken. So he's working on that. I mean, he still has to live with his trauma, but instead of it outright breaking, he's like, oh no, there is an actual way to deal with this instead of becoming a mess, like utterly devoid of basic human capabilities, despite being a dwarf. Shh, don't question it. So yeah, you fixed Relifor when you weren't even sure he was broken. Good job, team.
I miss his laugh.
No, he still has the laugh.
Okay, good.
some people just never lose parts of themselves. Alright, so we have one small problem with all of this.
Mm-hmm.
This was the thing that was the price for our silence. What is
Yes.
their cost going to be to actually go risk life and limb?
No Tad.
No Dad was worth that much?
Stood at the doorway, you see Kimria. She's just stood watching you all and just kind of like befuddled by everything. She's going like, so, can I just take him? Or are you gonna, like, demand the... do you actually care about him? I mean, you're not letting him get better.
That's entirely
Well, we
because
figured if he tried to get better, he would try to escape,
That's true.
which is counterproductive to our deal.
I like you.
Thanks.
Sorry, mine just wandered. Hi, I don't think I've properly introduced myself, by the way. I'm Kimria. Pleasure to make your acquaintance.
I'm Greg, and apparently the diplomat for this group.
You sound so utterly enthralled to be doing this.
Would you be?
I mean, I get to talk to me. I like talking to me. I mean, come on, I'm hot.
hair.
Well, yeah.
Cold as ice. I'm not gonna say any more because Twitch might get mad.
So, how did you? Sorry, I've got an awful lot of questions. You seem such a practical young lady and reasonable. And she looks over to Paul, where I'm assuming Flick is, doing the backstroke and like it just shenanigans, just non-stop ridiculousness. And she just looks at them and looks at you and goes, "Are these really your people?"
You see that blonde dwarf over there?
Uh-huh.
She's the love of my life, and I'd follow her anywhere. She's the reason I'm here.
All right. Cool. So, like, super serious then.
Yeah, I'd say it's pretty serious.
All right. No flirting. Got it. Cool. Well, this just became a bit more boring for me. Okay. Negotiations. What are we up against?
Have you been paying attention at all to the Sorcerer King? And what
No.
he's been up? Well, it's pretty much destroyed lately the city of Dunkirk with a giant flying tower using cannons, and they were created by my mentor. So,
It was beautiful.
kind of a big flying death machine capable of leveling entire cities. And honestly, if he finds out that you guys are here, I wouldn't be surprised if he sent his flying tower your direction.
Oh, the Soul Searching knows we're here. Mother is familiar with him.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have an allegiance with him?
Oh God, no. He's been trying to get a hold of some of Mother's. That's not important, actually. Well, what was once an inconvenient thorn in the side is slowly growing into a great gaping spear wound. Well, what do you propose?
Well,
What is your plan?
we have been, as far as I have been told, amassing an army of various strengths, various monsters, various capabilities. I myself am going to equip them with as much armor and weaponry as I possibly can, such like my guns here, in order to hopefully stop this army of undead, unicorns, madmen, and giant flying fuck you towers. And I figure what would be better than a bunch of dragons on our side.
I suppose it means that you can get easy access for giant flying fuck you tower. Who makes that?
I'm not entirely sure.
I bet I've got a
Nope.
tiny pick.
I've, I might have blown off said person's dick.
Nice.
Yeah, it seemed good in hindsight. It might be a little problematic. He seems a little angry. But all I know is my boss is the one that made those cannons. So I feel slightly obligated to destroy it before it destroys all of Fife. I mean, kind of already has destroyed a predominant amount, but
One thing, when you exist for long enough, you realize that mortals are resilient creatures and they somehow rise from the ashes. Although that's rather difficult with a giant flying fuck you machine, so let's try and get rid of that. Okay. Well, obviously there's not many of us. There's all the lizard folk and kobolds and whatnot. You can, sure, if you want more foot soldiers, you can make use of them. But I'm assuming the biggest part, you're actually wanting the actual society's help. I'm assuming you want to do something like ride atop some magic dragons as we fly into battle and wage mortal combat with this giant flying fuck you machine.
Well, I mean, we also have some eagles. I didn't want to assume you would let us ride you. That seems kind of demoralizing a bit, to be quite honest.
Hmm. I don't know. It's done with consent, and it's an agreed upon thing.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna kink shame you for what you're into or whatever, but
Oh. I don't know. I suppose there's always some innate desire in all creatures in some way, shape, or form to be ridden in some way. You know, providing it's done enough. I'm rambling.
Nope.
oh yeah,
don't like him.
kid doesn't want to be ridden at all. He's very strange.
Well, that also, it's obviously not all creatures. I mean,
Oh yeah,
shouldn't-
whatever floats your boat, sort of thing.
yeah. Sorry, I need to work on making declarative statements like that. It is a logical thing that is not to be. The words are not my friend. So you want dragons?
I mean, ideally, you would help us in the fight, but if you're afraid or concerned for your own well-being, any kind of help would be great.
I'm more than happy to supply. I spoke to your Null friend earlier, and he raised a similar point of contention. Of sure, we can just fly away, no big deal. But then we have to rebuild and repopulate and get all our servants back. And it's a lot of effort. And then there's the ever looming fear of a giant flying fuck you machine to get us. And it's just a lot of hassle, really. So, obviously, I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but what do you at least have some kind of vague concept of how you wish to engage with this? I mean, I've engaged in many wars. I've led many wars. I've obliterated entire countries off the map. So if you need someone to sit down and make war plans, I'm more than happy to lend my ear.
That would be great, but to be honest with you, I am what we'd call a tank. I'm a foot soldier. I dish out damage. I don't really make plans. That, unfortunately, falls to him. I point back to Kid.
I like to imagine that Kid's been listening and just like he's been over and he just stood there naked, dripping wet, going, "Hi, yes."
Yep. I've been standing there just behind you, dripping the entire time. Yeah, I've got a little bit of something cooked up, ready to go. It involves a couple of things that will need to work. I say as I begin slowly putting on a shirt. Just kind of going through outlining little details of the plan involving if we can possibly get them. All of the giants, the goblins on foot, a couple dragons attacking from the sky, a giant pizza slicer, and a few other things that I think are just absolutely essential to this plan. I'm willing to understand if certain things can't be done.
I think we can make some kind of arrangement. How about when you're all done gallivanting in here, we set up a war room somewhere, and I can have a look at your armies and we can get something set up.
It sounds fine.
Okay.
Oh, I suppose now that I'm thinking about it, can I ask you something private?
Okay.
This thing on my face, I say, pointing to the mark.
Yes.
We've seen some of your people use it.
Hmm.
How does that work?
Well, what it does is you give up your. Uh, let's say one could quantify your ability to, take a hit, per se. And let's give them points. You sacrifice these hit points, and doing so allows you to tap into draconic magics. Specifically, since I granted it to you, you will be able to tap into various ice magics, various spells or things that can be acquitted. And how it works is, if we were to give each spell a level, so I don't know, say a fireball, that's maybe a level 3. You would sacrifice 3 times, whatever your constitution would be. Well, your
Okay.
constitution modifier, sorry.
Hmm.
No, that if you had to, yes, you
I understand.
sacrifice that to.
Okay.
Unfortunately, the more you use it, it will eventually add up, and just the magic is unstable at best.
Sure.
I mean, if you want more, my son, well, my official son, he's down the hallway. Yeah, he can give you a blue mark if you want that, and then if mother likes you enough, she might grant you something.
I'll do it.
Okay, wonderful. We will obviously have to discuss all of these things in more depth and detail when we have more time, probably next week. Here on Tales from the Kingdom of Five. Because we are basically at wrap-up time. Thank you very, very much, everybody, and huge thank you for Shogun once again for stepping in to help things run whilst Archer was without internet. But hey, plot twist: Shogun is going to be joining us for the final arc.
All
Woo.
right.
So
Sweet.
Gonna go
You
kill
have
my
your-
husband.
Yeah.
Gonna be
So,
fun.
Shogun's going to be here with us to the end for all of next month while you bring this to a close. I have been the Bardic Knock. You can find me on the internet at various places such as Twitter, Twitch, Patreon, and YouTube, all under the Bardic Knock. Welcome to the party, fantastic place. Join the Discord, the link is down below. Thank you to our sponsors, being Tabletop Loot, Devon Rue, the Mistress of Maps, and So Nerdware. I forgot to do that beginning. I knew I forgot something. Those people, sponsors, they're amazing. Sorry I forgot to mention them at the beginning. That's my bad. So go check them out. So Nerdware specifically, if you go on their website and use the code WELCOME, you can get Welcome to Party merch for 10% off your order. Well, not just our merch, you can get all merch on their store for 10% off with that, which is great stuff. You can find Welcome to Party on lots of places as well. Twitter at Welcome Party RPG. Here on Twitch at twitch.tv/Welcome Party RPG. Over on YouTube at youtube.com/Welcome to Party and patreon.com/Welcome Party RPG. We also have podcasts, and you can find them on Podbean, Google Store, and iTunes, all under Welcome Party RPG. It's all good stuff. I have done all of the plugging. Other people, Shan, plug.
All right, so stuff I have to plug. Basically, if you go to my Twitter at Shanalogic, you'll find links to everything that I have. I have a Ko-fi, I have an Etsy page where I make perler art of weapons, potions, D&D mimic chests, your characters, yourself. So if you want something to look 8-bit and made out of plastic, I can basically do that.
That's
See,
awesome
that's a
stuff.
rainbow potion. I made that thing.
I have. This.
The mimic chest. Dun dun dun. One of my most popular items, and I make them all with love, and sometimes a special little surprise.
Yes.
Spite.
Yes, I put spite into everything that I do.
Oh no, I've got it. Gay. That's the secret
That-
ingredient.
That's also a given.
Do you have a choice about that one though? It just kind of
No, it just kind of
emanates.
Yeah, it just sort of comes out, if you will.
Ah.
Thank you for that pity laugh. I needed that today. But yeah, that's all for my spiel.
Okay, so that's Shan. Cody,
Yes.
you like
I
to
have-
tell us about artists?
Yes, I have today 3 artists to talk about, 2 of which are responsible for what you've seen out of Kid, with his first form being made out of really cool traditional-ish art from Thomas JB on Twitter, and the other one, the more anime version with 4 arms that you see currently, is made by Mikun19 on DeviantArt, and because I just received a really cool chibi-fied picture of a character that I hope to eventually play in a campaign run by Matt. That is Tsukino Hikaru on, I probably pronounced it wrong, that's fine, on Midgardia RPG on Twitter. Okay. There went all the sound.
Yeah, I was about to say everything went super duper quiet, and I don't know.
Who's next?
That would be you, Shogun.
Oh, me? Oh, okay. I'm Shogun117 on Twitter, and I'm Shogun on the Discord server for Wilhelm Party RPG, and that's about it.
Rebecca, you have a DeviantArt. Tell us about.
Yeah, DeviantArt under Nana LUNDANA.
And that's that. And TJ, what do you have to do? Nothing. What are you doing with your life?
I think you hurt his feelings, Matt.
I think I did. TJ, we're about to sign off. Are you here to say bye? Okay.
Tell him poutine is disgusting. Then
He just summons Canadians randomly. You can't assume it's going to be him.
Well, we don't know what's happened to TJ, because we can't see his camera. He disappeared forever. Anyway, we need to sign off now, so we're going to go raid Roll Call RP, because that is someone I saw who is online. I'm going to click enter.
Oh, you've got
That's
that set
not a
up?
thing, apparently. That's not a thing.
Not a thing?
It didn't work.
Hang on. Let me...
Did I spell it?
Roll call. RP. I got it. I'll do it.
Yeah, I used the wrong roll. I used dice roll, not roll as in roll.
I got it.
All right, click the raid, and until next time, stay safe and happy adventuring.
Call
Bye.
RP. There? Yeah! It's working. Alright. Goodbye, everybody.
And this is the only way TJ would go. Bye.
I tried. I mistimed it.
There we go. We're up.
Alrighty.